If you're driving growth for your SaaS business, it can be really easy and tempting to just jump into go-to-market execution. Execution is you running 1,000 cold emails, or running a bunch of ads, or writing a bunch of blog posts and hiring an SEO consultant. All of those things can be really easy to just jump into because it feels good. It's a bunch of activities. But here's the thing though, you can send 1,000 emails and you may still hear crickets. You can spend $1,000 on ads and still get nothing back. This is where go-to-market strategy comes into play. Here's the question though. What exactly goes into a go-to-market strategy? What do you actually need to do so you're not wasting a bunch of time on frou-frou stuff and you actually get to the brass tacks of creating a go-to-market strategy so that when you send those 1,000 emails, they're actually effective. In this episode, I'm gonna break down the 5 key components to revamping your go-to-market strategy so that you can accelerate your path to that next stage of growth. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS business faster with an unstoppable strategy. Now, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics from the trenches on how to grow your SaaS business faster. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. Now, if you're already part of this community, if you're part of my SaaS go-to-market coaching programs, my people, ooh, that hurt. Welcome back. It's really awesome to see you over here. So I was on a call with a founder once, and they were walking me through what they were doing for their go-to-market. They had sent 1,000 cold emails. They had hired an agency to run a bunch of ads, and yet there was no pipeline actually being generated. In fact, the only revenue they actually generated successfully was through their own network, through actual referrals that were coming through from just talking to people they already knew, but they were tapping out of that. And we dug into exactly what they were doing. And very quickly, it was pretty clear that they were making the same mistake that baby TK made. They were jumping to execution instead of actually thinking about strategy. Now, in this episode, I'm gonna walk you through the 5 critical components that you absolutely need to know on how to transform your go-to-market strategy. And I've only included the things that actually matter and cut out the things that are just a waste of time. So if you're excited to dig into principle number 1, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm that just loves it when you do that. And let's dig right into it. So first thing to understand is what is the difference between strategy versus execution? I kind of alluded to this already, but it's important to really define it. Execution is the stuff that you do. It's what you're doing to actually generate pipeline. Now, strategy is how you go about doing it. Now, when I put it in a thing like this, it makes perfect sense that you should do strategy. Why do we not do it? Because so many people go around just talking strategy and it seems like a waste of time. There are parts of it that actually matter. How you go about running your go-to-market plays makes a difference on how effective it's going to be, regardless of how hard you work at it. So that's principle number 1. What you're really doing when you're defining your go-to-market strategy, how do you filter through what matters and what doesn't? You're focusing on how are we gonna go about sending those cold emails or running those ads or running those blog posts or anything else that you are doing. Principle number 2, as part of go-to-market strategy, is to do the math. This is a piece of math that most people don't do. There are natural laws of averages. What that means is if you reach out and generate 50 ICP leads, ICP meaning your ideal customers. If you're doing 50 leads that are completely random, then it'll be 0% conversion rate. But let's just say you really target your targeted customers, people that are perfect for your SaaS product. Well, out of those 50, no matter how great your product is, only 5 of them will turn into real opportunities and trials. That's the law of averages. That's just how it works. Why isn't it 100%? Well, they might be busy. It might not be the right time. They didn't get your email, any number of those things. Out of those 5 trials or opportunities, 1 will become a customer. This rough conversion rate, where only 10% of the people you're engaging with will turn into real opportunities at that time, and only 20% of those people will turn into a real customer, is pretty much average when it comes to SaaS. Can it be better? Absolutely. But that's basically your average. And if you're not doing this math, you're not really realizing exactly how much activity you need to drive as part of your go-to-market to get results. And you might stop at the 49th lead and say, this is not working, let's just stop, let's give up. Instead, if you do the math as part of your go-to-market strategy, then you'll know, well, we need to generate at least 50 ideal customer profile leads in order to really know if this is working or not. So that's principle number 2. Principle number 3 is to actually flesh out what your target is. So this happens all the time when you hire an agency that doesn't know any better. They'll say, cool, we'll spend all your money. They make a percentage of every ad dollar you spend, so they don't really care that much. Even if they only last 3 months, that's still money in their bank no matter what. It's kind of like how Wall Street works. When you are fleshing out your go-to-market strategy, it allows you to make some decisions that can hold any marketing contractor, any agency truly accountable. You should go to them and say, hey, this is the entire world. This is our total addressable market. This is the group of customers that are most likely to buy now. That is an example of an ideal customer profile. When I work with founders on developing their ideal customer profile, there are 29 different points that go into developing an ideal customer profile. That's why it's so effective when you run the execution. What's really important for you to flesh out right this moment is to figure out what your true ideal customer profile looks like. Where are you going to be targeting your go-to-market activities? And most importantly, how are you going to differentiate in the market? Because here's the thing, I'm sure your SaaS product is very unique, but when you approach a random stranger, even in your ideal customer profile, they probably can think of 1 or 2 other software companies that have already approached them, or they've tried, or they have an Excel spreadsheet that's already doing the job pretty well. And so you have to show up in a very differentiated way. And you have to be able to compete against the other players that are in the market, which is why it's super important when you're defining your ideal customer profile. One of the 29 points we talk about is how do you actually differentiate? Where can you differentiate? Where are you actually differentiated? And let's focus on that group, and then you can expand over time. And that's the power of principle number 3 to actually flesh out your targeting. Now let me just pause here for a second. I have 2 more right here, but before I go into principle number 4 and principle number 5, are you starting to see the power in this? These are not complicated things. They're not totally crazy waste of timers. These are basic brass tacks of strategy that you need to just lay out so that you're going to be successful in any go-to-market activity that you're going to run. If you just do these 3 basics, you start to think about how are we going to approach this? What is our math? And what is our targeting? If you just start on these 3 things and even don't do number 4 and number 5, can you see the power of what you're going to be doing in terms of your actual activities or whoever you hire to do the job for you? If you start to see the power in this, can I just get a yes in the comments below? That way I know you're with me. Also, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm if you're getting value. It just loves it when you do that, and so do we. We put a lot of love into these videos. Also, if you're in this stage where you're like, oh my God, I gotta figure out how to generate more pipeline, I gotta flesh out my go-to-market strategy, I need to actually do this in a proper way, then this is why I run my SaaS go-to-market coaching program, where you and I work together to actually build your go-to-market strategy and drive the execution. You don't have to go anywhere right now. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this episode. I'll link to it below. Let's go to principle number 4, because this one's super important, one of my favorites, and brings it all together. Principle number 4 is once you have, okay, we're gonna think about the strategy, this is our math, this is our ideal customer profile. Principle number 4 is to figure out your messaging. You might say, we already have our messaging. It's great. Well, let's stress test it. Fill out this simple sentence. We help blank accomplish blank. That's the result. If you can fill out this sentence without overrunning the index card or going into font 6, then you may have some solid messaging. Then I would ask you, is it working or not? What I find very often is because the ICP is not defined, the messaging is not great, which means that every outbound email you're writing or every ad you're writing or the topic you're selecting for your blog is off because you're not thinking about exactly who you're targeting and what they need to hear for you to differentiate in the market. So that's principle number 4. Once you have those pieces, you can custom craft the right messaging. And this example sentence is just a part of your messaging. This is your value proposition. This value proposition can go in a lot of places, including your homepage. But there's a deeper framework to follow to really develop the messaging so that every cold email, every ad, every lead magnet, your homepage, your investor pitch deck has a crisp message on exactly who you're targeting, why, and why they should go with you. Once you have all of these pieces, congratulations, you have the beginnings of a go-to-market strategy. Then comes the execution. And this is where a lot of people go wrong as well. What tends to happen very often is you do TikTok today, and then you do YouTube. Oh, TK's doing a YouTube channel. I should do a YouTube channel for my SaaS business. Or you do LinkedIn, or maybe you switch to Twitter. You're all over the place. The right way to deploy your go-to-market strategy is through principle number 5, which is what I call a Broadway show. A Broadway show is a consistent set of sales and marketing activities that you run to achieve what I call conversation dominance around your ideal customer profile. This is your ideal customer. They have a phone, they have social feeds, they have their inbox, they're searching on Google. You need to make sure you're running an orchestrated set of activities to actually have your messaging appear around your targeted ideal customer profile. And you need to do that consistently every single week. That's the power of a true scalable go-to-market machine. And so if you're running a bunch of random 1,000 emails or some blog posts, or you paid some random agency run by an ex-pizza boy, and you're like, I don't know why it's working, these are the 5 principles that you need to follow to revamp your go-to-market strategy. Let's recap. So principle number 1, know the difference between strategy versus execution. Strategy is how you're gonna go about generating pipeline. Execution is what you're going to do. And guess what? You really, especially in the early stages, can't hire someone to do it. It has to be founder-led. That's what I found. Number 2, do the go-to-market math. Just know that out of 50 ICP leads, 5 will become opportunities, 1 will become a customer, and you need to keep iterating. And every time you iterate, you may have to reset the math. That's how you get better and better. Number 3, make sure you have clear targeting. Build out an ideal customer profile where you're going to be differentiated. That's super important. Know who the competition is. And then based on that, number 4, build the messaging. Your value prop is just one part of it. There are other pieces that go into proper messaging. And then finally, run a consistent set of sales and marketing activities called a Broadway show to achieve conversation dominance around your ideal customer. That way, everywhere they go, your company, your messaging will appear. That's the power of a proper go-to-market strategy. And now you know the 5 critical components that you need to focus on and start thinking about to transform your go-to-market strategy so you can actually drive growth for your SaaS business. Now, what you may not know is, TK, how actually do I think about strategy? Like, what are the steps? How do I think about the go-to-market math? This seems pretty simple, but there must be more to it. How do I build an ideal customer profile? How do I flesh out my messaging so it's actually differentiated versus me making it up? And lastly, how do I take that go-to-market strategy and actually run a Broadway show, a consistent set of sales and marketing activities that gets my message to my ideal customers? This is why I run my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. Inside of this program, we follow a 3-step process to revamp your go-to-market strategy and run a Broadway show. We first flesh out your ideal customer profile. Those are the 29 points that we look through to make sure you have a proper ideal customer profile. Then we develop your messaging. That's what I call a manifesto. That's your core strategic narrative. That's your value prop. That's your positioning to make sure that you're differentiated in the market. And then you deploy the manifesto and bring it to your ideal customers using a Broadway show. It is an incredible program. We've shared so many success stories on this channel on founders that have gone through this program, grown their companies, raised follow-on funding, or gotten to profitability. Half the founders in the program are bootstrapped and the other half are venture-backed. And I work with you directly when you join the program. So if you want to work together inside of the go-to-market program and actually revamp your go-to-market strategy and implement these steps in a step-by-step way with my coaching, I encourage you to go to tkcater.com/GTM. tkcater.com/GTM. On that page, you'll get all the details about the program. And if it sounds like it's a fit, just go ahead and fill out the little form and we'll get on a call. On the call, we'll go through exactly where you are with your SaaS business. And if it sounds like we can actually help you through my SaaS go-to-market program. The better the fit, the better the results, which is why we get on a call to figure out if this is the right fit. If it is the right fit, then we're off to the races right away. Running this program and working with founders like you on your go-to-market is what I absolutely love doing. Now, these YouTube videos give you the high-level principles, but when you work with me inside of the program, we have very step-by-step training on do this, do this, do this, and then come talk to me and then we'll review everything. And that's why people are so successful as they go through the program. So just go to tkcater.com/GTM. If you got value from this video, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It just loves it when you do that, and so do we. If you have a fellow founder, a team member that would also get value from this video, if you're part of a Slack channel, a WhatsApp group, a mailing list, please share this video with fellow founders. We want to help as many SaaS founders as possible. Also, I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics from the trenches on how to grow your SaaS business faster. A video just like this. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon, that way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode or inside the SaaS Go-to-Market Coaching Program. Just follow the link below. Principle number one, no, oh, that's not number one. 1 second. There's a lot of these.